Hi, I'm Lisa Starr, and this is Natural Time. It is the YouTube version and video version of a podcast that I do 3 times a week elsewhere on the podcast platforms. You can find it, Natural Time, Mayan astrology for a modern age. And I just like to drop into video in case that's your only format. And this is designed for beginners, meaning I don't go from 0 to 100 in terms of my agility or complexity. I try to start us back at the beginning, and I think for me, being a beginner is always helpful. There's nothing wrong with getting back to basics and keeping things simple. So it's the yellow seed wave spell. It's day 5. Today is called Yellow Overtone Star. And it is the wave spell that has the most to do with plant life. In fact, it is exclusively or intentionally all about plants, but we sort of start with a seed, as every plant also originates. So it's not just celebrating seeds, it's celebrating seeds that turn into roots, that turn into buds, that become blooms, that become epic trees that bear fruit, and seeds start over. So it's about a life cycle, and humans have this life cycle also. Like, we start as seeds, we grow, we bloom, we decay. If we want to be real, our bodies compose back to dirt, earth, and then I guess a tree could be harvested there, if not a human being. So we can see ourselves in plants. And I think that's the time, actually, that we're in, is for us to be kind of replenished by having a simple posture that I'm more like plant than animal right now. So I respond to light. I just want to grow and prosper. It isn't about amassing things. Like, plants don't really, they have vines, sometimes have tendrils that will like grab something, but there just isn't that component of ego in plant life. So we get to have diminished ego right now, which is resplendent, right? Like, it's always a wonderful moment in any spiritual pursuit where you just kind of have a design moment of being egoless. Like, in a Buddhist practice, I'm not going to be exact in how I would describe, but when it's maybe easy not to have ego, is a led meditation with your sangha versus like the strife of trying to achieve that on your own. So there are moments in spiritual practice that are kind of supported for us to have a simpler approach to how we perceive and react to life. This is one of them. Where I live, it is finally a literal spring and sunshine after a pretty dynamically wet, gray winter. No freezing temperatures. I sympathize if you go through that, but just a very demanding, dark, wet winter. And then the sun came out, and all these well-saturated plants are dynamically charged to reach for the sun, well fortified to grow fast and furiously. And so are we as humans. I mean, that's one of my favorite awakenings in following a natural time calendar, is to just keep being childlike and saying, that's weird. I also feel very much like I want to grow to the sun when it's spring, you know, just like noticing kind of how a child, you could explain to a child, like, yeah, in the spring, it's like you were inside all winter and now you just want to run around and play. And that's how plants feel. They were underground in their burrows, and now they just want to come blasting out and, you know, dance in the sky. And so we might be sharing that experience right now. So there is some easy synchronicity to it being yellow seed, the wave spell, right here in the heart of equinox. That's imminent. And that's not how it always is. Just if you're a beginner, understand this is not an annual calendar. The Zolkin tracks 260 days, which is the same length as gestation in the womb for a human, 9 months. And so it's not always springtime when it's yellow seed. In fact, the next time it'll be the yellow seed wave spell will be right at winter solstice, when it's absolutely, dark, and everything is very much in hibernation when it comes to plant life. So we can just enjoy that it's really supported to be really feeling like if we're going to be like plants and the plants are really alive or on fire right now, we're going to feel ourselves during this wave spell like little plants that are really in their growth spurt. And it's going to feel, I think, really promising and supportive, because our human mind that never really goes to sleep wants to achieve, grow, conquer. There's ego in there, competitive, survival, wants to shine, be glorious, close to God, godlike. And so the plants right now are very much in the vein of moving also toward the God source of the sun or what have you. And so this yellow seed wave spell is kind of a nice groove for us humans living through it. Our plant life experience right now is, like I said, dynamic. That does not feel like beginner teaching. Sorry. Can't help it. I'm on fire. I'm on fire with the plants. Yellow seed. So, like, I think though sorry about my earthquake table. I have a table that makes my camera jiggle when I get excited and gesticulate. Yellow seed is just of all the 20 tribes that we celebrate for 13 days each, or we move through every 20 days. It's part of the cycle of life of the Mayan experience, where we have 20 tribes that we revere or pay attention to as we pass through them. Yellow seed represents plant life. It's the only one, essentially, although I think Red Skywalker has kind of a plant spirit and medicine, like the plants that can get you somewhere, like psychedelically, are represented by Red Skywalker. But this is kind of our time to be with reverence and understanding and relating to plants, vegetables, animal, vegetable, mineral, vegetable time. And then yellow seed, the wave spell that we're in, sort of separate from the tribe and what aspects the tribe holds, the astrology of right now is that we're moving through 10 portal days in a row. And portal days usually just come one at a time, or maybe a rare pair. But right now, they're 10 in a row. We're on day 3. Yeah, this is our 3rd day, so there's still a whole week of portals to go. I'll be wrapping up the portal contemplation next time I am on video. So it's just every day is a portal day. And a portal day, what is that? A portal day is a gateway. Where there was a wall, there's now a door. It's that simple. You don't have to get all cosmic and start thinking about aliens and wormholes and black holes. I don't do that. I would just say it's like a vortex, and it opens us up to a deeper experience, or a more intense experience, a more compressed experience. I mean, sometimes you want there to be a door, and sometimes it's like in a plane when one of the panels falls off and there's suddenly a door where there was a wall. That doesn't make you happy at all. Like portals can feel like, I wasn't looking for a more intense experience. I don't want to be pulled through a hole. I was happy right here on this, with a wall where there was security. So it's combination, or it can be one or the other perceptively. Maybe you could change your perception to like, no, I want the doorway. I definitely feel that the portals that are happening now to me feel, well, I don't know how they feel. Honestly, they've been quite exciting. Now, I used to feel like you could find a portal within a day, that I could go to sleep at night, and I did this exercise when I was new to the calendars, where I would go to sleep at night and be like, what was the portal today? As if it was one moment, as if it wasn't the whole day. So you could play with that. Is the portal one thing that you remember? Like, that was the moment when the panel flew off the airplane. It was that moment. You had a memory or an encounter or a feeling state, or you felt your fate change, or something bubbled up in that realm. Or it could just be like the days are all as if like a gong has been struck. And you're just like the whole days, these 10 days, or each portal day within the 10 is like got a resonance of charge or intensity or opening. Or it could be both. It could change. We have 10 portal days. It can be a lot of things. What I think is special about yellow seed, and this is kind of a cautionary word, is that I have felt often that the yellow seed portals feel like, oh my God, the dam is broken. I feel so free. Look at this life that I'm living. It feels good. And I feel like yellow seed represents, again, plant life where there isn't ego. So there's not a bunch of fear. Like plants are sensually reactive, like, oh, cold, night, dark, sun. They're just doing something physiological that is also spiritual, but they're not contemplating it like, oh, every time, the sun goes down, I start to remember that I'm going to have to compress myself into a tight bud and close up for the night. Like, they don't have that. So we get a break from that. And that can feel like, oh, my life has changed dynamically. I feel I can do a lot. This is really exciting. And it is exciting. And it would be great to spend a lot more of our lives in that egoless state where you're just like, I love the light. Oh, time to go inward, nighttime. If we had the simplicity of experience that was also just very primally responsive without like trauma memory, that we'd have to mix into our responses to everything. So we actually are reactive more than responsive. That's true of a lot of us. Yellow seed gives us a break from that. And it also can fool us a little bit. Like, everything is so great now. We'll see. The reason I say that is because I think that yellow seed has a lot of promise to it. It's showing us where our life is going. A seed holds within it a whole oak tree. If it's an acorn, it could be an oak tree with water and earth and light. And we all have access to water, earth, and light. So we too can grow ideas. We can grow our souls. We can grow our relationships. And right now, it is a lot about growth and that kind of frequency of, like I said, keeping it simple and just being connected to earth and elements. But yellow seed with the 10 portals is sort of like falling. I always say this, and I'll say it on the video. It's like falling through the earth. If you like poke in the earth a hole in order to put a seed in, it's like we're going to fall to the bottom of that hole. And then later, that seed is going to grow back up toward the sun. So we're kind of seeing our future as we pass through it, as if the striations of the earth that we're moving through are the portals right now, the days that we move through. And so like, we're going to drop through things and we feel like maybe they're already in our lives now, but we kind of have to grow organically back to meet them. We're getting a little idea or a vision, a preview. It might take a little more time for the things that are new and exciting and feel evolved for you right now to be, as we say, real or regular or integrated into your life. That's my cautionary note. I have a hard time talking about yellow seed as a thing, it's this, and being very concrete because it's so beautifully organic. It's kind of otherworldly to step into plant consciousness after being in animal consciousness our whole lives. But that's the invitation that going through the Zolkin brings, which is, I know I'm a human being. I'm a woman. I'm like a Caucasian woman living in California. But if I follow the Zolkin, sometimes I'm a serpent. Sometimes I'm a monkey. Sometimes I'm the sun or the wind. Sometimes I'm a visionary eagle or a hearty warrior. Sometimes I'm a seed representing the plant experience. And so even though I've incarnated as human, I'm following a calendar that allows me to be very well balanced and aware of all the other ways to exist. That's definitely what I love about it, because I find being a human being kind of hard and awful. I'll leave it at that. I felt plenty of things about the human experience that are kind of horrible, and I don't feel that lately, but I do feel that I benefit from remembering there's other guises than just the human form in order to experience an awakened life, an actively engaged life. So we're still going to be in yellow seed for a while. It is the 5th day, yellow overtone star, and we still have 7 days to go. Do I have everything right? Okay, the first portal day was white electric world bridger, then yesterday's blue self-existing hand, and then today is day 3. But it's day 5 of the wave spell. So we have 8 days of the wave spell and only 7 of the portals. Anyway, that's the future. I like to storytell a bit. I have a daughter who's a yellow seed, my younger daughter. She's 25. She's going to be 26 on her next birthday in November. And I'm mentioning that because I don't think I have a lot of young listeners, but if you're anywhere around 26, meaning you passed through it maybe a handful of years ago, or you're right there and you're going to be 26 soon. 26 is the opposite of our birth. We're born on a day, say on the Gregorian calendar, that correlates to one on the Zolkin. That's where our Zolkin astrology comes from. And then when we're 26, we are in perfect opposition and balance to our birthday. And then when we're 52, we come all the way home in exactitude to our birthday. And I'll give you the example of my birthday. I was born November 23rd, 1968, which was blue overtone storm, the 5th day of the blue eagle wave spell. And so that's my birth astrology. And then when I was 26 years old, on November 23rd, whatever year that was, I became a red overtone moon. Red moon is my opposite. Blue storm and red moon are considered antipodes. They're 10 days apart in the 20 tribes, and they're opposite fingers and toe. The blue storm toe is the little pinky toe, and the red moon on the left side of my body, and the red moon is the right pinky toe. And all the antipodes relationships are like that, opposite fingers and toes. And then when all of us are 26, we're always it's called our exact antipode year. So it's actually very harmonious to be in our exact opposite moment. It's not as disruptive as it sounds. It creates a lot of balance. A blue storm that can't flow, blue storm is sort of subsumed, like when the driving powerful force, thunder, lightning, eruptive rain is muted is when the river is running full of the water that was in the sky already and meets the sea, where everything is sort of flattened out by the breadth and greatness of the ocean. So that's why blue storm and red moon are both about water, but very different presentations. And I think that every antipode has a frequency like that, of opposite but balancing and somehow really understandably connected. So anyway, my yellow seed daughter is turning 26 next year. I'm just telling you this now so you could learn about what turning 26 is like. But she just ran a half marathon in New York City today for the memory. It wasn't originally planned to be a memory for my daughter. The same daughter's best friend's mother died of cancer, stage 4 cancer. And she was really young. She was my age. I'm 55. So she went through her 52nd year on the planet, which is a complete life cycle, and then was spirited away by the supreme powers that be. Her life was taken from her, and it was a great loss, of course. The family, and my daughter is very close to that family, so she signed up to do this run in New York City. I'm just mentioning it because it was such an epic thing for her to have to engage with. It was not a lighthearted thing. She's not an athlete. It took forever to train. But I just laughed that it ended up being the 5th day, the overtone day of her own wave spell. Often, we have really important things that happen when it's our own wave spell. And I think it's so good to plan without trying to look things up on the Zolkin. Just plan your life. Just make your plans. You're a human being within a society, perhaps an American one. Do not get all like, well, I only want to do this in this Mayan calendar moment. I think that's complex, and it's more magical to just like, you know, put things on the calendar as they're asked of you, or you're drawn intuitively, your gut or your mind, your higher mind tells you, and then you check it out. Often the synchronicity that then kind of like wakes us up and delights us is because tripping, it's exactly like my time that I'm doing this. When my daughter said that she was having it today on yellow overtone star, even though she's not a natural runner and she didn't train as much as she should have, I was like, it's not going to be a problem. It's an overtone day. It's a yellow star day. It's going to be amazing. You're going to be fine, because today is about empowerment and resilience and radiance. Okay, thanks for listening. I do this all the time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, on audio, and on the weekend on video. If you like it, please look for me and the other format. And I hope you did like it. It's for you. I'm here for you. And my name is Lisa Starr. I am another yourself. And in Mayan, we say, in Lakesh.